Hey guys, how are you doing? I'm doing well. I am here to answer some questions in a knitting and crochet tag that Sonya over at catcrazycreations sort of put together for us, and I thought the questions were interesting and I've enjoyed watching everyone else's answers, so I thought maybe a couple of you would care, I guess, about my answers. So here we go. Number one. How long have you been knitting or crocheting? I guess I've been knitting for 20 years now. I'm 31 and I started knitting about when I was 11 years old. I was staying with my grandmother and she was knitting, and I had asked her to teach me, and since I was being annoying, she was okay with that. So she taught me, the basics, like how to cast on the knit stitch and the purl stitch, and how you alternate rows to get stockinette stitch. And at that time, I didn't know that you could just knit back and forth and to get like garter stitch or anything like that. So I just have I had all of these blocks made in stockinette stitch, and they were all like rolling up on themselves, and they were pretty horrific. And I was making scarves for my Barbie dolls, I should say. I had a lot of Barbies, and they were all kind of pretty hideous, and I had no idea how to bind off at the time, so yeah, it wasn't good, but it gave me something to do with my hands, and I was kind of interested in it for a while until I got bored with it, like a year or two later. And mostly because I didn't know how to bind off, and at the time it's not like we had the internet or anything that I could sit there and look it up how to do it, and I didn't have really any books, and I wasn't interested enough to ask for books from people, so I just I kind of gave up. And then in college I joined a sorority, and a bunch of the girls crocheted. So at one point, a lot of us got together and crocheted hats that we sold and gave the money to charity. I think it was the American Cancer Society, and then any of the hats that were left over we also donated for the cancer patients. So I, being the stubborn person that I am, decided I didn't want to crochet. I wanted to get back into knitting, but then I kind of felt like I was left out, so I learned how to crochet too. And that was difficult again, because first of all, I was more familiar with knitting, and all the stitches you need when you're knitting are on the needle. So for me, it was kind of crazy that, you have this fabric and then you actually have to find the stitches in the fabric and crochet into those. So that was hard for me to figure out. Plus, we still didn't really have too much on the internet. I think knitty.com was around, and there were some tutorials online, but not really videos, and so you learned from pictures and books and stuff, and I just was not grasping it. So some of my friends, sat down and we kind of figured out stuff together, and it ended well, and I crocheted a lot more in college because time crunch and whatnot, it just made sense because crocheting is faster. Plus everyone else was doing it, so we could just sit around and crochet, because that's what you do in college. Number two, where do you knit or crochet? Mostly at my house on the couch in our living room, but sometimes I go downstairs into, we call it the man cave, but it's not really a man cave. We have a half-finished basement, so we have a big TV and a bar and a big L-shaped couch, and so sometimes if my husband and I decide to go watch a movie, I'll go down there. I should be knitting or crocheting in my craft room, but it's a disaster area right now, and we try not to go in there. I do plan on cleaning that up sometime soon. I just don't know when, but soon. When do you knit or crochet? Mostly in the evening, because I work full-time. I work 8 to 5. I don't get home until around 5:30. By the time we have dinner, that's 6:30 by the time maybe I can start playing around with my yarn. And then I'm also managing kind of two side businesses. One is actually the one where I sell my stuff, and then the other one is a marketing agency that I'm putting together with a few of my friends. So that's taking up some time, especially since we are working with customers now. So it is mostly in the evening or early in the morning on weekends because we're usually doing stuff in the afternoons or at night, so it is kind of difficult to squeeze everything into when I want to. Number 4, what is your favorite needles or hooks to use? If we're talking sizes, I mostly work in crochet hooks on like an H, needles a size 7 or 8. If we're talking like which hooks and needles that I own that I like to use all the time, hook wise, it would be my pink tulip crochet hooks. They came in this little case that I love, love, love. There's even like a dingly sparkly thing. I mean, it's me. But they look like this, and they're all pink, and they're beautiful, and I use them all the time, and they're comfy, and I like the way that the heads are, like they're not annoying to me, and everything came in this thing, like it came with scissors and needles, so when it comes to using hooks, like this is kind of my little go-to packet. Needles, I use the Knit Picks Caspian needles a lot. Those are kind of my go-to needles unless I need circulars, which I don't have these in circular yet. And this project is all knotted up because it's been sitting on the coffee table for eons. But anyway, this is what they look like. They're like shades of blue. They're wooden. I have the basic set, which has been split up at this time because I've been using them for so many projects. These are some of the smaller ones that I have. But yeah, they're super pretty, and for wooden needles, they're slick, but they're light. So that's why I like using them, because they're not very heavy. I don't accidentally thwack myself in the face with them, which happens, believe it or not. And I don't know, I just think they're super nice. You get like the usability of nickel-plated needles, but with lighter wood needles. So those are my favorites of those. Number 5, what is your favorite brand of yarn to use? That depends on what it is that I'm making. If it's something that I'm selling and I can't charge $100 for it because nobody will buy it, then I will probably pick up Caron Simply Soft, which I think is now Bernat Simply Soft. I don't know. I saw something today and it like freaked me out. So if anyone has any insight on that, feel free to comment. But I'll get Simply Soft or Vanna's Choice or Red Heart Shimmer or Red Heart Soft. Those are my 4 probably favorites that you can get in the store. Or Hobby Lobby's I Love This Yarn, which is actually a pretty decent worsted. If we're talking like the more expensive stuff that you get in your local yarn store, then one of my favorites is Sublime Cashmere Merino Silk DK, or pretty much like any of that stuff. Just anything cashmere, merino, whatever, like the super soft stuff. Yeah, those are probably my favorite types. Oh, Cascade. The Cascade yarns are usually pretty nice too. So, yeah. Mostly I like the indie brands. I know that sounds like a hipster thing to say, but that's okay. They're usually nicer, and you're supporting an independent business or just a smaller business that's run by people who give a crap that you're spending money with them, as opposed to going to like public stores. And like I will not go to Walmart to buy yarn. I don't go to Walmart to buy anything. Like, I don't know about your Walmarts, but ours are like gross. Like the clientele are just bleh, and they show up and they're like not wearing clothes, and it's like the floors are dirty. Like they just opened a new Walmart and it's already within like 3 weeks it was like covered in filth like already. So I like refuse to go to Walmart anyway. But like I refuse to go there to like buy yarn specifically. Because you can get the same yarn or better yarn for similar prices actually, or at your local yarn store. Number 6, what are your favorite things to knit or crochet? Mostly hats, because they're non-committal, just like me, and they're super fast, and if you make a mistake, like, you don't feel bad ripping it out, and you don't have to kind of kill yourself worrying about hats. Mostly smaller pieces. I shouldn't say I've never done a sweater, because I have. But mostly smaller pieces, hats. I really dislike scarves, which is funny because I'm knitting a scarf right now, but I hate it. And like, I think I would rather start knitting a sweater than knitting a scarf because it's just like the same thing over and over and it never ends because they're like 6 feet long. But yeah, hats. How do you get ideas or inspiration for your projects? Mostly by watching YouTube and sometimes just going on Ravelry and browsing through my friends list to see what other people have favorited. I also, on Facebook, I follow a lot of either yarn companies or other people who knit and crochet, and they're always posting like some interesting patterns that I will repost or save for later, that type of thing. So that's generally where I get my inspiration. How did you learn knit or crochet? I kind of already covered that with my grandmother. How do you store or keep your patterns? Most of my patterns are either in books, so they're on a shelf, or they're digital and I keep them in a folder in my Dropbox account, which is nice because then when I'm traveling I can just take my iPad with me or even just pull it up on my phone and access whatever pattern it is that I'm looking for there. And I try not to print as much as possible, but like if it's like a really, really long pattern that requires reading and it's multiple pages, then yeah, I'll print it out. Do you have any other hobbies? Yes, unfortunately, I have too many hobbies. I sing. I am a classically trained soprano, but I haven't sung in years, so don't ask me to sing. I sound terrible. But yeah, that was a hobby of mine for a really long time. In college, I was in the full choir. I was in the tour choir, which was a select audition choir. We got to travel all over the United States, and we even went to Spain the one year, so that was fun. And after college, I was in 3 choirs at one point, and one of them I was paid to sing in. So for the longest time, singing was like a big hobby of mine. I don't do it much anymore because I'm out of practice, but there you have it. I play the piano. I've been playing the piano since I was 5. My dad's a music teacher, so there's that. I quit for like the longest time, and then toward the end of college, I picked it back up again because I found that I missed it. I draw and I paint. My degree is in commercial design, which I went into because I like technology and I like playing on the computer, but I started out as more of like a starving artist. Like I've always drawn since as long as I can remember. I took private art lessons from middle school to the end of high school, and you know, all through college you have to take like your classic art classes, like lots of naked people, so draw lots of those. But yeah, so I do a lot of art and I read. Right now I'm reading Morrissey's autobiography, which that's the name of the book, is Autobiography, and I'm like martyring my way through it. I love Morrissey, like I would have a million of his babies, but like that man writes 3 pages as 1 paragraph, and I can't. Like, it's interesting now that like I'm at a part of the book where he's older and he's talking more about the Smiths, and like that's really interesting, but like the first half of it I just I couldn't. But yeah, so I do read a lot. I try to read at least a little bit every day because I think it makes you smarter, and to me education is super valuable, so everyone should read. And I know I have other hobbies. Hanging out with my friends and music. I mean, music in general. I mean, I know I talk about singing and the piano, but like I'm really into music. Right now, one of my customers for the marketing agency I'm working with is actually a startup indie record label in Philly, so that's interesting. I actually reached out to them because I liked what they were doing. And so yeah, I'm on Spotify all the time. I love music. And my dog and my cats and blah blah blah. Too many hobbies. So that's that. If you are interested in participating in this tag, then make sure to check out the questions below and also check out Sonya's original video, because everyone should go visit her because she's awesome and I love Sonya, and this is kind of fun, and I think everyone should do it. So, of course, do it. And yeah, I want to see what everyone else has to say too, because I've now rambled on for much too long. So it's your turn. I guess that's it. I will talk to you all soon. I'm excited because I'm going to see the Avett Brothers tonight. Speaking of liking music, I've seen them before and it was an awesome show, so I'm excited tonight to actually see them headline, because last time they opened for Wilco. So that'll be amazing. I love the Avett Brothers. And yeah, so I will talk to you guys later. I hope you're all having a great week and are getting ready for an awesome weekend. And again, make sure to check out the questions below, and also follow me on all the social media links down there, because I'm pretty active on most of them and I like interacting with other people. So I will talk to you all later. Bye.